Everybody, welcome back with the Purplatypus is the name, and welcome to another Expedition 33 video. This game has been incredible, and you know what extends the life of games and makes them stay better for even longer? Our sponsor, Marvel Strike Force. I'm messing, we don't have a sponsor today, but mods. Mods are what makes amazing games stay fresh and exciting for long periods of time. I'm looking at you, Skyrim. I'm looking at you, Oblivion. So today, we're gonna go over my personal 5 favorite mods that I've seen so far. Now, the game is still in its early days, so the mods are going to be more simplistic in their design. They're mostly gonna be quality of life things and like changes to things that maybe the devs didn't wanna do, but maybe you as a player like. They're not gonna be like overhaul brand new game mode mods. However, that is something that I do plan on covering if they do come out, like expansion mods or completely new game mode mods, things like that. I would have a lot of fun covering mods, but we don't need to dilly, we don't need to dally. Check the description if you just want to see what mods they are. You don't actually want to see them in play, but we are going to jump into it. And first and foremost, why are we here? Why are we on the Gestrel Beach? Well, I am proud to announce our very first mod here. Maybe my favorite mod in the game, the Beach Volley More Easy. There are 2 versions of this, but if you've done the Gestrel Beach volleyball game, you know that this is maybe one of the most disliked aspects of this whole game. I actually did think it was fun, but I also was I was pissed trying to actually clear this because it was very difficult. So if you want help on how to install mods, that's not what this is about. I'm not very good at that stuff. But basically, you download this mod. It's going to make it so you can either guarantee that the enemy has 1 HP or 5 HP. I downloaded the 1 HP thing. So let's go straight to the strongest. But Plat, they still have the same amount of HP. What are you talking about? The mod didn't do anything. Oh, ye of little faith. Bring it on. Boom! We are pro gamers! There we go. Honestly, genuinely one of my favorite mods in the entire game. One that I think a lot of players are happy exists. So for the second one that I have here is removing fog. You just remove it from everywhere. So this is a very modular mod in the sense that there is like 7, 8, 9 different options of what you could do. The one I'm going to show you is the one at the bottom here that just gives you literally everything. So here's an example of what the game's opening looks like when you have all the fog and beautiful effects on. This is what it looks like when you have it all removed. Now, again, this is not, I'm not saying this is objectively better as terms of graphics mods. It's all up to your preference, but I personally do enjoy the way this looks. I know it makes more sense that there be a bunch of fog, but I like a nice, crisp, clean look. And this is throughout the entire game, right? But hey, to each their own. All right, I'm gonna admit right now, this mod will look ridiculous when we get in there. But the third mod I wanted to highlight was the easier or harder dodge and parry. Now, this one is not one I used myself during my playthrough, but I'm telling you, if you're an older person, or you just have slow reflexes, or maybe you just, you know, it's hard for you to use a controller or keyboard for whatever reason, this will allow you to make dodges, I think it's 5 times easier, which is what we're going to showcase here. So you're probably all familiar with the normal dodge. I'm not going to uninstall the mod just to show that. But yes, disgustingly easy dodge and parry, 5 times easier. And there is an option as well to make it harder. If you are, you know, I'm sure 90% of all the mods are people that made it easier. But the fact that you can, this is, yeah, how many downloads? Unknown. But you can make it harder. And basically what this does, it just changes the animation. So let's get into a fight. All right, so watch this. I'll admit it looks ridiculous. But one thing I do want to highlight is that you do need to hit the button for each individual attack. Even though your character's animation is really long, it won't dodge multiple times. If they're gonna hit 3 times, you still need to hit the button each time. But basically your timing is not as important. So if we come up here and they do the 3 hits, right? So I can dodge here, but I have to dodge each time still. But you have basically 5 seconds almost, right? So I could dodge here, but you have to hit it once for each time. So I'll show you again, just because this actually, there are times this can make it harder. If you're not used to the animation, it'll look silly. But so watch the parry range. You get a parry by hitting it so early. But let's show you one more example where even though it looks like I'm dodging, how I'm not, right? So I'm gonna dodge once, but look at the second hits, still hit. It looks like the other one hit, or didn't hit, but after that, like, you did get hit, right? So you do have to hit the button basically every single time, but this will make the game a lot easier in general. Although I think the 5x is too extreme. I would cut it down, but if you're showing off a mod, you got to show off the extreme, right? Anyway, next mod. All right, so this mod is basically Expert Plus mode, because what this is going to do is that this is going to give you a damage cap. However, what's actually kind of fun about this mod is you could use it both as to make the game way easier, or you can make the game way harder. So what do I mean by that? This sets your damage cap to either 99,000 or 999,000. Quick note, if you have painted power on, that will override this. So take off painted power if you actually want this mod to work. But what do I mean it can make the game harder? Obviously, it makes the game harder because it caps your damage, right? So you can't do 1,500,000,000 damage, right? You're going to be capped at basically 100,000 or 1,000,000 damage. But if you could turn this on at the start of the game. So you can have it. So in Act 2, instead of hitting 9,000 damage cap, you could be hitting 99,000. And you could actually use this to trivialize Act 1 and Act 2. Well, mostly Act 2, but trivialize that part of the game, or you could use it to make the end game much, much harder. So let's show you what it looks like here. We are gonna go fight Mr. Sponge here. He's a cheater anyway. I have it on good authority. So let's showcase. We're gonna use Streddenrawl. Everyone says I add too many R's to all the words. And so, yeah, we're gonna use Streddenrawl here. And we are gonna hit for a nice solid 99,999. Uh-oh. Mael, what's wrong? So now we're going to have to start fighting like normal, right? So now you actually have to start fighting the guy. I assume that this works on burn damage and stuff also, but there you go. Very simple, straightforward mod, but very great functionality. Finally, the mod I've probably got the most questions about and is my personal favorite, the better skills descriptions. I love nerdy numbers in games like this. I don't want to use, if one attack does high damage, one attack does very high damage, but one hits twice, one hits once, I don't know which one does more damage, and a lot of variables can make it hard to test repeatedly. I want to read the numbers. I want to know what is better just from looking at it. So I cannot recommend this mod enough. It's not currently updated to show Stendhal at a 15 multiplier instead of the 25 multiplier. So I assume there's a patch coming. There might be other versions of this mod that do similar things, but here's how it looks in game. You can see here on the right, I have the skill description and it shows the damage multiplier. This also does work in the middle of combat, so you can see stuff if you forget. So now if you're wondering why Stendhal was so powerful, it had a 25 damage multiplier. Like I said, it's times 15 now, but you know what didn't get nerfed at all was Gamage. This is a 50 times multiplier, maybe the strongest skill in the entire game. But what's really good about this is that some abilities that seem like they might be lackluster or may not be worth it, like for me, it was Combustion. Combustion didn't seem like it was that strong, even when I was getting 10 burns, but I think it was just earlier in the game, and so when I got later in the game, I kind of wrote it off. But in Act 2, this ability became basically like one of the strongest abilities on this character because you're able to hit damage cap twice very easily. So this will allow you to kind of look at abilities in a new light, which I think is really, really good. And especially for someone like Monaco, where you don't want to go through every single one of these abilities. And some abilities are really good with the mask. Some don't get that big of a multiplier with the mask, such as this skill, which only gets a 2x multiplier from the mask, which isn't bad. Like, that's good. But you come to some of these almighty mask ones, and it's 5x if you use the mask. So it's much more important to actually use this as opposed to the other ones. Point is, for me, it added a lot of fun once I downloaded this mod, and it helped me make builds, and it kind of just gave me a good idea of how to construct skill sets and what I should be prioritizing with just better information. So those are the 5 mods. They're my favorite. Links are down in the description. I would recommend all of them. You could download all of them and use them at the same time. Nothing bad happens, to my save anyway. But I guess there's always a little bit of something to be worried about when you're using mods. You never know for sure. Guys, thank you for watching. If you have any other mods I gotta check out, let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, much love. The Purplatypus is Purplatypus. I'll see you on the flip-flops.
Bye. Watch the views go up. Content king, never down, always showing up. Hit it.